Welcome back. This is part 3 of my Blue Card series, looking at my entire Hot Wheels Blue Card era, so 1990 to 1995 vintage Hot Wheels collection, including all of my variations and any notes and facts I have on these cars, including which ones are rare, approximately how much they might be worth if on mint condition card and loose condition in some cases. I display most of my cars mint loose, as you can see, so it's a great opportunity to really look at all those awesome variations of these cars as they were released through the early 1990s. This particular show is starting off with number 28, the 37 Bugatti, and we're going to finish off with number 36. Number 28, the 37 Bugatti, came out in this yellow paint job with red tampos. These were previously released in 1988, commonly found, and now in 1990 found on the Blue Card only rarely, hence making these two cars quite hard to come by. The blue and gray version, however, quite a common car, came with white wall wheels, 7-spoke, and black wall wheels, the hardest wheel combination to find for the blue and gray, as well as this blue, gray, and yellow fender version, which is not overly difficult to find, but is an example of a transitionary piece from when the yellow cars were being dropped off of the assembly and the blue ones were taking over. Clearly, a few bodies and fenders got mixed up there, and enough to make this a known variation. That brings us to number 29, the Tail Gunner. This is one of my personal favorite castings. A heavy and very substantial pickup truck with a solid diecast body and chassis. Just check out the actual thickness of that chassis. Plastic turret, and this one came with the all blacked out CTS wheels, and more commonly with the blacked out CT wheels. These cars were both released in 1987, when it was also found with a tan paint job. That dropped for 1990, and if found on the blue cards, these would be worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $75 to $125 each, based on being a somewhat rare vehicle to find, still in the early blue card numbers, or low blue card numbers. That brings us over to the 80s Corvette. This was released in 1989, very commonly, found occasionally on blue cards in the Blue Card series. The hood supposedly had no tampo on it, was just solid blue, and this car used to sell somewhere in the range of $500, even slightly higher at times, if found on that original blue card. Number 31 was the classic Cobra. This was released first in 1986 with virtually no changes whatsoever through until the blue card era. This is a commonly found piece, and also lots of variations, as you can see. We've got wheel variations and base variations. This other version here is an interesting one in that it has a black plastic base, 7-spoke wheels. Not overly rare. None of these cars really worth more than about $5 to $10. We've got two versions here with the 7-spoke and a black painted metal base. There it is with the hood open somewhat. The reason why I've got these two out here is because one base is actually a solid, well, this is the glitter metallic black base, and this is the solid black enamel painted base with white Malaysia stenciling on it. I feel like one of these cars is probably from a 5-pack or a different playset, a different era, and I think that would be the metallic black version, as I do have one of these cars on a faded blue card, number 31, and it has the solid black painted metal base. Missing from my collection is a 7-spoke version with an unpainted base, so it should have this base with 7-spoke wheels on it. I don't have one of those, and it shouldn't be worth too much, about $10 supposedly. And a 3-spoke version here, quite an easy one to find as well. Mine's a little bit banged up, so looking for a mint version of that at the right price and time. Number 32, Shark Cruiser. This is a very commonly found casting, dating right back to 1987, when it was first released with this exact same paint job and wheels. And, oh, someone's markered on the bottom, number 230. This one came out with silver hot ones as well. This was about twice as uncommon, perhaps more so. Otherwise identical. Both of these versions released in 87. And in the blue card version, this is worth about $10. These ones are really not worth more than a couple dollars. And interestingly, the paint job, this vehicle wouldn't get a new paint job until 1995 in the Crackle Car series. So it went a solid 8 years with the same paint color, and mostly with these Ultra Hot wheels, hence why it's so easily found. The Camaro Z28, number 33. This is quite a commonly found car, but upon closer inspection, there's quite a few variations to look for. In 1986, this exact same car, same base and everything, was released with the gold Hot One wheels. And in 1990, it was then changed to these Ultra Hot wheels and Blackwall wheels. For the metal base version, though, there was an Ultra Hot wheel variation with an unpainted base as well as a black painted metal base, which I do not have a variation of this. I don't think it's supposed to be all that rare, but I just don't have one in my collection. This other version here has what's called the skid plate base. You can see these big plasticky skid plates under the axles. And these base plates were found on the purple and orange variations of this car as well. These orange and purple variations also part of the McDonald's Happy Meal prize cars of the time. So that's probably why these things were quite common. Not available from McDonald's. These red versions did carry forward quite a few of these leftover kind of extra play-ready bases. Here we have the purple variation with a regular no-skid base. Here we have an orange version with the no skid base and skid plate base. I've got a third example out here because, in my opinion, the tampo on this one has a vivid purple or fuchsia kind of coloring in the sides of the car, whereas the other two versions and some of the other more played with versions I have a light pink in the tampo. Possible variation there. This one has the skid plate base. None of these cars are worth all that much. Very common cars, but interesting to find all those variations. And also, let's see, what else have we got? A Camaro that I'm missing would be featuring the Ultra Hot wheels. So this car, but with Ultra Hot wheels on it. Not sure if the base was supposed to be plastic or metal, but that would be a very rare variation, and I have not seen one of those for sale. That brings us to number 34, and that is the Bulldozer. It's quite a simplistic looking tractor, but it does have rubber treads on this version, plastic base, big front plastic grille with an adjustable shovel. As you can see, it's actually got some pistons, functional pistons on the front of it, and the tracks do turn, although with such an old model, this thing being nearly 30 years old now, let's try not to break them off. That would be worth around $20 on a mint blue card, and really not worth much on its own. Number 35, Ferrari Testarossa, came out in metallic black and red with interior and wheel variations. This car may seem recognizable to you once again, as it was released in 1989, the exact same car, red with either black interior or red with tan and red interior. Both of these are fairly easily to find and worth around $5 to $10 each, even on mint blue cards. The black, metallic black versions that I have here, I have an Ultra Hot version, the gold Ultra Hot version, which is worth about $5. I've got the gold BBS version, or wire basket wheels. Now there is a version of this apparently with all small wheels, and that would be worth a little bit more than this version, which is worth around $2. And a hardest one to find would be black with black interior and black taillights. So obviously another transitionary piece where some red cars lost their black interiors and would have got mixed with this partially black interior, making an all blacked out Ferrari. I've never seen one of these, and if I did, I'm sure it would be a pricey piece, especially found on mint loose cardboard. Mint loose or on the cardboard, I should say. And here's the fun part. I've got one car that I need to add to my loose collection, and that is this Ferrari Testarossa. And as you can see, it just wants to come out of the packaging. So now we've got another black Ferrari for the display wall. I've got all my metallic black Ferraris together. Check out how shiny that freshly cracked version is right in the center with those gold Ultra Hot wheels. Now, I didn't have too much trouble opening this car up because they are available commonly on eBay for around $5 currently. And that brings us to number 36, the Baja Bug. Same car as released in 1987, re-released for the Blue Card series, and if found on a Blue Card, one of the difficult ones to find, worth somewhere between $75 and up. Obviously, as a mint loose car, quite easy to find and quite common. So stick around for the next video, which is going to be taking off from number 37, the Hot Bird, one of the most iconic Hot Wheels cars ever produced, with an absolute ton of incredibly rare variations on the wall that we will be bringing over to look at, along with a whole bunch of other cool cars like the Blown Camaro and Sheriff Patrol. So stick around. We've even got the white Bronco 4x4 coming up next. Happy hunting.